Give a piss about nothing but the time. Blitz, Bama, blitz.
Give me Alabama to break home.
It's when somebody takes what's yours, and this is our game. It's our game. So that makes it shit personal.
Oh, we in there tonight, baby.
Hey.
We in here tonight, baby. Saturday night, talking Bama. We live, baby. Call your folks. Tell them hop on tonight. JT, JB, Stephen M. Smith. JB, how we living tonight, brother?
Man, you know what it is. Your boy JB, the man of the people.
Yes, sir.
2 weeks away. Two weeks away from opening night. Bryant Denny Stadium is going down, baby. I'm JB, the man of the people. Stephen M. Smith, how you feeling tonight, brother?
Man, I'm good, man. Fresh off another thing of body armor, man. After the earlier show, breaking down the second scrimmage, I'm right here on Talking Bama. Shouts out to Deacon Bennett. He gave me the chair. Deacon finally gave me the chair. So Deacon's a good guy, man. So they brought the chair in. This is officially my chair. So I'm happy about that.
About time.
So, guys, it's just you got JT, JB, Stephen M. Smith tonight, guys. Before we get going real quick, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. All the best Tide updates is right here, live tonight, and also on all the other shows as well, guys. Make sure you check everybody out. But we got to tell you who we're sponsored by tonight, guys. Our main sponsor, Workspace Solution. If your business needs a digital presence, full-fledged market team, and SEO, and more, they're who you need to contact today, guys, at workspacepros.com. JB, my man, who else we sponsored by, brother?
The football
season
truly never ends. So to support your team 24/7, 365, get you a title tower. Go to whitwillsports.com. Use the promo code STANDARD. Get you a nice little discount courtesy of your favorite Bama network, the Bama Standard.
Yeah. So, guys, we got a jam-packed show tonight, guys. We got a lot of stuff we're going to talk about. Later on, I'm going to go ahead and get the chat ready for this. We're going to talk about some games maybe outside of Bama that could impact the 12-team playoffs. It could also impact who Bama might play in these playoff games and how they can line up. We're going to have a guest join us later on in the show, and we'll kind of break things down when that happens, guys. This is going to be really fun, though. We're going to start the show off tonight with the second scrimmage. That happened. If you haven't watched the show earlier from the recap, make sure you check that out on the channel. We're going to double back on some stuff here today. And Stephen S. Smith, we're going to start off, man. I heard some stuff about Rico Scott. Tell me a little bit about Rico.
Rico had a very good second scrimmage. Rico from Pennsylvania. Once again, this is the first time since Robert Foster, the 2013 class, where we go back up to Pennsylvania and we grab a marquee town at wide receiver. Rico had quite a few catches out there. One where the dude got sandwiched between two defenders, hung onto the ball, got his bell rung, but scored a touchdown on the play. Caught the ball from Jalen Milroe. Had quite a few nice catches out there. Could have had more, but he's able to hang on to the football, maintain the ball, catch the ball, run good routes out there on the field. And this is huge because throughout the fall camp session, we've talked about Ryan Williams. We've talked about Caleb Odom. Now you're seeing Rico Scott say, I can do some things too in this rotation. He did some nice things out there. I was very pleased with Rico.
Yeah, okay.
That's a big JB.
Let me ask you about Amari Jefferson.
Jefferson looked good out there too. I mean, all of the young guys. Jefferson had some good catches out there. Bubba Hampton had a couple of good ones out there. But the guy that continues to just really amaze, Emmanuel Henderson's taking his, y'all. E-Man had a sick acrobatic catch from Ty Simpson. I'm like, whoa. Like, E-Man ain't playing. Like 187 pounds now on his 6'1" frame. When you talk to Coach Jamarcus Shepard about him, Shep just lights up in the face. Like he knows Henderson's about to do something. Came in as a running back out of high school, but has now completely adjusted to playing wide receiver. He knows the position. He pushes everybody in that room. This is now E-Man season.
That's big because E-Man, I watched him in high school. He's local to where I'm from, and watched him in high school. Dude was elite. I mean, just elite talent. Went to Bama. Been waiting to hear things out of this. Hearing this now and hearing that, with this upcoming season, this offense and the way things are looking to roll forward, I love hearing that, man, because he's been, if we talk about Bama boys, we talk about somebody staying true, he's been a true Bama Tide, whatever you want to call those things, guys. He's been true to Bama and the standard. And he stayed, 10 toes down at Bama. And I respect that. He's not the only one. I'm not saying he's the only one. He's just one of the ones that I do like. Stephen M. Smith, something else we talked about, man, was that 4-2-5 defense. I heard they out there. I've heard them boys flying around.
Man, I'm going to say this. The first scrimmage was about the offense, right? You heard so much about look at what Milroe's doing, Ty Simpson's doing, Austin Mack's doing, the different receivers. Kane Womack said, enough of that. Defense, bring it all at them. And that defense came at them today. I mean, defensive line stuffed every run play. They got heat to the quarterback. Young guys like Jeremiah Beeman, that kid was disruptive all scrimmage long. Quay Russo ain't playing. I talked to two guys. They said that darn number 4 is a problem. They can't block him. That number 4 is a serious problem. On the back end of that defense, how about King Mack, the transfer from Penn State, had a pick 6. King Mack had a pick 6. Red Morgan had a pick. There was some serious hitting going on between Malachi Moore and Keon Saab. They were hitting people. Kalen DeBoer talked about it. R.D. Breeze brought the wood today. They were laying receivers out, laying tight ends out. There was no busted coverage. None. There was not a single busted assignment by the secondary. Now, of course, there were probably some small things where when they go back and they watch the tape, probably some small things they could have done a bit better, but there was no busted coverage. These guys knew where they were. They knew where to be. They knew who had the ball. Tackling was very sound today. That defense came with it, y'all. That defense came with it.
That's great to hear. That's great to hear, man. Because with the 4-2-5 being implemented, you would think that it would take them some times to get it right. They will have mistakes. But with you saying no busted coverages and not many penalties, then that makes me feel a little bit better because we're 2 weeks away from the first game. So let's hope that they can continue to be mistake-free, penalty-free when we start playing real ball out there on the 31st.
Real quick, that's something big I want to just double on real quick because we haven't talked about this a lot. Some people have not. I feel like it's flying under the radar, but JB, you just touched on it. Penalty-free. What has happened with Bama the last 2 years with Nick Saban? They've talked about the most penalized team Saban's has ever had. What did we not do in the last 2 years? We have not won a championship, right? So you see what I'm saying? Like, being disciplined, I think it's a big thing. So I don't want us to overlook that, JB. Like, that's a good point right there, bro. We got to be fundamentally sound and disciplined and know those things. Stephen M. Smith, what you got?
I mean, absolutely. And Coach DeBoer has talked about it. This group being able to play fast, being able to play sound and physical, and not having the mental mistakes there, not having the penalties there, not having the miscues there. But what I've been the most excited about is the battle opposite Damani Jackson at corner has gotten really interesting. DaShawn Jones, the transfer from Wake Forest, has played really well. He's consistent. But the two freshmen, Zabien Brown and Jaylen Mbakwe, oh my gosh. I think Zabien starts.
What?
I think Zabien starts. Bach is going to get in there too, though. Bach is going to have a role. The way Bach has played, this is insane. And people don't realize, I think Bach hasn't played corner in 3 years, if I'm not mistaken.
He's been quarterback.
He's been a quarterback. So the fact that you haven't been a corner in 3 years and you come to Alabama and off the rip, you're going to have a role in the secondary. that speaks to how quickly that kid has picked it up. I mean, already his body's different. He's went from 170 to 192. The body's different. And now that he's picked up this defense as fast as he has, Bach is going to have a role.
Let me ask you a question. Stephen, about the corners, DBs. So Saban has been there. You know, we know Saban 17 years coaching up those guys. What's the difference between the corners, great corners, DBU, and this new group and this new coaching staff? What do you think will be the difference between how they was coached before and where they're coached now?
I think the way they're coached now, and I got to give Coach Mo Linguist, who works with the corners, primarily a lot of credit. Coach Mo relates to this group. I mean, Saban, old school guy, he had his style, right? But Coach Mo gets these dudes. Like, he relates to these dudes. Like, Coach Mo played corner in college. Coach Mo played in the NFL. Coach Mo was with the Cowboys. Coach Mo was in the SEC in his coaching time. And Coach Mo, it's like, he doesn't just throw a whole lot at these kids. It's, I'm going to give you a little bit. You grow. You got that? Add you a little bit more. You grow. You got that? Add you a little bit more. Like, he's literally taking these guys step by step, but these kids have just taken off with it. Like, they've taken off with it. And it's a coaching staff they're all player coaches. They all feed off the players. So Coach Mo, Coach Colin Hitzler that works with the safeties, this defensive back room, people look at these guys like they babies. These ain't no babies. Right. These grown dudes out here. Like, I don't know what they've been in. I don't know what Ballou and this nutrition staff is doing, but these ain't no babies. These are freaking transformers out here, man.
Not the Bama Transformers, what?
It's great that, we got a lot of young guys, of course, but Malachi, Keon Saul. So we got experience mixed in with those young guys with these good player type coaches.
Love that part. Yeah,
I think it's a great mixture.
It's a great mixture because you got the young coaches who are not just energy, but they can teach and they can break it down and they know what they're doing. And then you got the experience of Malachi in just Bama football.
Right.
You got the experience of Keon Saab, who played for a national championship team. And the guy wasn't no bench warmer. Keon Saab had production for a national championship team.
Had some interceptions for him too. That was clutch.
Including the pick six. And then you had Devontae Smith in that Husky position, of whom this is his fourth year in this defense. So he knows a bit of something, even though he's had to battle through some injuries. So you've got a firm mixture of great coaches, energy, experience, talent, and young dudes that's like, throw me in the fire. Let me go.
Right. Dun, 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 dun. Introducing
Yes, sir. Get the ones
Bama Tribal Trees. Everybody in the comment section real quick.
But, Stephen, I want to speak a little bit on what Coach Ballou is doing and what a lot of people don't understand. From a physiological standpoint, my degree is in exercise science. I competed in both powerlifting and bodybuilding for a number of years. So I know how all this works. For a lot of these kids, they're coming from a background where they don't have anyone laying out nutrition plans. They don't know how to eat. They're just eating whatever's in front of them. And in a lot of schools, they don't have the money or the budget to hire a strength coach. So they just have one of the coaches who thinks they know a little bit of something about weightlifting that watched Arnold Schwarzenegger film from the back in the 1970s. And they do a one workout fits all. So you bring these kids in to where they got specialized nutrition, where the meals are designed according to what their position calls for, but also the workouts resemble that as well. And you pair all that together, then all of a sudden you literally see gains upon gains overnight just because their body isn't used to all that. They're finally being taught how to do things the right way. And that's why you see guys jump up and weight 15, 20, sometimes 30 pounds. You're seeing a metamorphosis literally overnight. So I'm telling you, these guys are about to do some things that you thought they were something in high school, But once they get on that college field, man, they're going to put the word on notice, and it's going to seem like these guys are on loan to Alabama from the NFL. So that's something I definitely like to speak on. But one of the things I enjoy doing is looking at the guys who aren't being talked about very much at all, the hidden gems. Steven, I've asked you each week, who's a guy that has made you go, wow, that dude's on our team? Okay, we're going to bring him in. And there's so many other guys who get the spotlight, rightfully so. They've done their thing. But I want to go to one of the young guys. We're giving a lot of praise to the young guys. We talked about somebody before we jumped on air that started to really turn some heads that isn't really getting mentioned too much, QB Reese. Can you let the folks know what QB Reese is doing and why they need to start paying attention to this guy and how we could probably benefit us sooner rather than later?
I'll say this. QB Reese works with my guy, Leonard Stevens, step-by-step performance training in Birmingham. And when I talked to Coach Hill about him, he just said, look, man, QB a dog. He is straight headhunter. And QB, a guy that was underrated coming out of high school in the Birmingham area. But when he hits you, you'd have been hit. And Rico Scott got hit by QB Reese today, and the ball came out. So QB will light you up. Now, I mean, I understand in that inside linebacker room, people are looking at more so of Deontay Lawson, Jihad Campbell, rightfully so. You look at Justin Jefferson, you look at Jeremiah Alexander, Justin Okunrokwo, you look at those guys right there. But QB Reese in the future is going to be a name you're going to have to watch for. Now, how many reps does he get this season? He'll get some spot play duty. I'm pretty sure that, Kane Womack is going to want to use the red shirt on him. But in the future, that young man wearing number 36, QB Reese, is going to be something in the future.
Isn't it funny how God works? I'm watching him a lot here recently, and clips we're getting, from the websites and whatever you share with us. And one of the overwhelming appearances is QB Reese. You see that 36 on the screen constantly. Like you said, yeah, he's bringing that pain. He's laying that wood. He's letting them know, yeah, I'm a freshman, but I hit like a senior, and I'm about to make you remember me. But he's in on plays. He's flying to the ball. And then you talk about him tonight. It's funny how all that works. I like that we can bring to the podium some guys that deserve some shine. They're kind of being pushed aside, maybe because they're younger, maybe because they're not being mentioned as much. And we, like you said, Stephen, earlier, we like the shiny new object, the sparkly things. But this is a guy whose sparkles is starting to get brighter and brighter. So I thought it was worthy of being brought up.
And I mean, we look at the 12-team playoff this year is going to open up so much, right? It's going to open up, you got to play young guys. You got to keep guys fresh, so you got to play young guys. And you got to get them adequate reps. I don't care if it's 15 reps, 20, 25 reps, I don't care. You got to get those young cats on the field to see, okay, we got to get these guys developed for next season, next spring, next season. How can we get these 15 reps in, these 20 reps in, these 25 reps in, whether it's on special teams, if it's a defensive player, working them into their respective position on defense, offensive player, the same thing. We got to get these guys these reps. And QB Reese is one of those guys. King Mack is another one of those guys. Getting him those reps in that husky position in that defensive secondary, because the young man's got talent. Other guys defensively, even offensively, getting these guys the adequate reps so that way, hey, they may not play, all 20 games or whatever, this season. But once we get to the spring in 2025, they're going to be ready to go because they've had some reps to build off of.
Yeah. You on mute.
Oh my gosh, man. I was talking so good, I muted JT. Dog, man.
We got JT on mute. But Steven, check this out. So when you said she was talking about those guys, I know one guy before we move on, one guy that you talked about a lot, Richard Young. And you said earlier, Richard Young won the day for the offense. He was the MVP for the offense today. Speak on Richard Young one more time for the people who might have didn't hear that.
I'll say this. Was told today by a guy that was right there at the scrimmage, good friend of mine, Richard Young made so many defenders miss. He was putting juke moves on guys, several explosive plays, running and catching, had a touchdown in the scrimmage. The guy's just hungry. And I go back to last season when he had to sit down and he had to watch Justice and Jam, that frustrated Richard.
Right.
Because Richard came out of high school in Florida as a 5-star. Much like Justice Haynes came out of high school at Buford, Georgia as a 5-star. So Richard's like, I'm just as good as you. Why am I sitting down here? And so, but instead of pouting about it, Richard took it as, okay, I'm gonna come spring of next year hungry as all get out. And from spring ball to summer, of which he added 17 pounds, he's now 217. To now fall camp, this guy's strong, physical, athletic, hungry, pass blocking well, can catch the ball out the backfield. Richard Young is starting to show, hey, Justice and Jam are great, but don't forget me back here. I'm getting mine too. So do not sleep on number 9. Richard Young has got something to say.
He's a big boy, man. I met him last Sunday at Fan Day. He's huge. He's huge. And he's down there at Fort Myers. Man, I don't know what they feed them kids down there in Florida, but they feed them good.
I'm just saying, Richard Young's got he bringing pain. He is inflicting pain on every defense player of the season. That boy, that boy's something else.
Okay.
So can y'all hear me now? Am I good?
Yeah, you're good.
We got you now.
Okay. Something else I was wanting to talk about, though, man, is with everything going on right now, there's position battles going on, too. Is there anybody we seeing right now that's winning one coming up? Maybe somebody getting some extra reps. I know we talked about Rico Scott. We talked about E-Man. Is there anybody – we talked about Jay, Mbakwe, trying to, him making a splash. Is there anybody else we're seeing?
I'm going to say this now. Quay Russo is making this tough on Keanu Coote as far as that second whoop. I mean, I think Keanu is really good, but Quay's a problem. You are not going to keep Quay off the field. You're just not. He's bigger now. He's stronger now. He understands what he's out there doing. The job Freddie Roach, Christian Robinson, and Jamie Mosley have done. Quay is different. You're not going to keep Russo off that field, people. You're not. You are not. Not.
We can be. We'll just be deep at that position. I think.
What
you said earlier, getting guys reps.
20
games.
You're getting guys reps, but I'm gonna say this: looking at Quay's body type and what he can do, I'm not going to put that much pressure on the kid, but the violence of his hands, that guy got some Reuben Foster type hands. I'm just going to put it like that.
He does.
He got some Reuben type hands. Now, can that come into fruition on this field in games? We finna see this, but you're not going to keep Quay off this field.
Another 5-star who waited his turn, and he's hungry and he's ready to play.
So, Steven, I'm going to put you in the hot seat. If you're the coach right now having to make that decision between Quay and Keanu, I know we're a little partial to Keanu. He's a friend of the show. He's been on our network several times. But what is one factor that separates one over the other? And if you were forced to make that decision right now, who do you pick?
Okay, so right now, I think the only reason right now I would say Keanu – it's just Keanu's got a slight more bendability.
Okay.
He's got a slight more bendability. Quay's got hands, but Keanu's got that bend to where you don't know where he's coming at you from. Keanu can bend to the left, pop out to the right, and scare the daylights out of you and get to the quarterback. Keanu's got the bend. Okay. So right now, that's the reason why Keanu would get out there first. Keanu's got the bend, but I wouldn't want to be in a dark alley with Quay Rusaw's hands coming at me because I'm going to get beat all the way up there. But Keanu's got that being, man.
Good answer. Good answer. Like it when you're in the hot seat deacon chair.
Hey, hot seat deacon chair, baby.
Man, I'm just saying, man. Yeah. I guess the deacon chair is not officially the hot seat. But hey, deacon, no offense to you, bro. The chair is not hurting me. The chair is not hurting me. But man, like the defense has got dudes, people. Like I don't for Alabama fans that are out there that have concerns about this defense, y'all got dudes. They've got dudes. And if you're Kane Womack, you're getting as many people reps as you possibly can.
Okay.
This defense has got dudes. Now, I know Keith Holcomb saying, but he may be looking through the crimson-colored glasses, but another run. This team, Keith, is gearing to another run, man. This team is gearing to another run, man. I look at after 4 to 5 years of dealing with the trauma-infested Pete Golding, that's over. Kane Womack, that's over, people. Womack, all right, just wait to August 31st. Just wait to the Georgia game when Womack pulls some stuff. Like Kane Womack to pull some stuff, man.
That's going to lead us perfect into the next segment. And this can be, when I say this next segment, this can be a coach, this could be a player, this could be the water boy, okay? Who's Bama's MVP this year, okay? Who do you think is going to be one of the guys that makes it go? You said Womack unleashing the defense. You think that might be one of them? Do you think that it could be Malachi Moore's experience on the defense? We obviously know Milroe and how he's set up this year. You know, could it be a wide receiver break off and have a Jamison Williams type year? You know, and have just one of them years. So, you know, there's a lot that can happen real quick. JB, I'm gonna let you lead us off on this one, and then we'll just kind of pass it over to Stephen M. Smith, and then we'll finish out with me.
Let me tell you this. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a coach and a player, if I'm allowed to do that. I'm gonna give you a coach and a player. Okay, so coach wise, I say Coach Shepard, Jamarcus Shepard, wide receiver coach. He brings energy. He brings the coaching that from those receivers at Washington that he sent to the NFL. He brings so much to this team, and he's got a slew of wide receivers, talent just coming out of everywhere. He's got so many talented receivers. We keep talking about all these guys. Shep is coaching them up. So with him bringing that over here to Bama, and then my player is going to come from his wide receiver room, Kendrick Law.
Okay,
I'm going to say Kendrick Law is a 1,000-yard receiver. I'm going to say I called him Playmaker. I gave him the nickname Playmaker last week when I introduced myself to him. He was the first one to sign my football. I said, "What's up, Playmaker?" He gave me that smile, that look. I said, you the Playmaker this year. You, number one, you wearing that for a reason. That's a Playmaker number. So I'm going to lean on Kendrick Law to be one of those under the radar MVPs for this team, making those big plays.
Okay. So Kendrick Law being one of the guys. Stephen M. Smith, who you think is going to be Bama's MVP this year, brother?
Okay, I'm gonna pull the same thing. I'm gonna pull the same route as JB. So coach wise, it's Kane Womack. Kane is bringing that Bama nasty defense back. Kane is bringing it back. Kane is bringing back the sacks, the pressures, the turnovers, the scoring off of those. And this man is just on a different wire of energy and a different wire of teaching. I call him Jeremy Pruitt 2.0 because he is. I mean, Kane is different with it. And the player that I'm going to bring up, I think the MVP player I'm bringing up is Deontay Lawson. Deontay Lawson has taken on Kane Womack's personality. D-Law is taking on that personality. I think D-Law is going to have an incredible year. He's going to have an incredible year in the middle of that defense, not just getting everybody prepared, but him actually making plays himself. I think the relationship between Kane and Dingall is going to be something really nice. Remember when Jeremy Pruitt had that relationship with them linebackers, he named his youngest child after 2 Alabama linebackers. He named his youngest child after Reuben Foster and Ryan Anderson, if y'all don't remember that. So Pruitt had that type of relationship with them linebackers. Kane Womack has that type of relationship with Deontay Lawson and that group.
That's big right there. And real quick, we had a chat question for all three. What game do you feel is a trap game for us this season? We spoke about it last week, but I do want to kind of hit that real quick. We'll kind of do that right after I do this. I'm gonna come to that one real quick. I like that. Because we talked about it last week, and I think that's a big topic. Stephen M. Smith, I'm with you on the coach side too. I'm going Kane Womack. Obviously, Kalen DeBoer's got to do his thing. We know that. All right. I think Kane Womack could be that guy. That could make different calls, different packages, dialing in different things, different schemes for different teams. And I think that's going to be very elite for us. On the defensive side is where I'm going to lean towards an MVP, in my opinion. I said this a while back, too. I said Milroe for offensive MVP, but I think Malachi Moore could be the biggest piece for us this year. Experience is what I'm leaning on. You mentioned a minute ago, possibly 20 games. What do you need when you have to have a 20-game season or a long run like that? You need some experience. Everybody ain't got to be, but you need some, to teach those guys. So I think that's going to be big, man. MVP for me, Coach Womack, and then give me Malachi Moore.
Okay. I ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at none of these picks.
and I can see it, the coin flipping, different ways depending on how things go, so we'll kind of see how the season goes. Obviously, everything's different. So,
before we get to that question, I'm going to say this. We need Jalen Milroe to be the overall MVP if we're going to win the national championship. We need Jalen Milroe to be that dude, to be the overall MVP, Heisman Trophy winning quarterback if we're going to win the national championship, because he's that dude. He's that good. He just needs to just take it one more level up and boom.
Intermediate passing. He hits those intermediate passing, get a tad bit. The accuracy turns up a little bit too. I think you're perfect. Little accuracy, intermediate passing, boom. I think you got what you want out of Lamar Jackson. You a bigger version of him. Like that's what it is, So, even Kirby said that. Kirby said that last year going into the game. He praised Milroe and said, I don't know what y'all are talking about when people were saying that Milroe couldn't do this, couldn't do that. And he's like, this dude's like a video game, man. Like, so, and then ironically speaking, now that the new football game is out, Milroe is almost a broken player in tournaments. You can't play with certain players. Milroe, Quinshon Judkins, there's a couple other guys that you can't play with because the player's broken. You can just you can be OP with Bama in the game, dude. You can just run quarterback dive with Milroe and just the whole time, man. So Milroe, OP. Real quick, I do want to touch this question, though. Question for all three. What game you feel is a trap game for us? I said it last week. I think LSU going down there, Death Valley late night, that's gonna be a trap game. It's gonna be a tough one.
Oklahoma.
Okay.
Right before the Iron Bowl.
Missouri, just the way it's placed. I mean, you got Tennessee on the road, LSU on the road, and Missouri right there in the middle at home. And that's the homecoming game. Depending on how Missouri is doing prior to that matchup, Missouri could be the trap.
Yeah. I was going to say that, but I knew you was going to say it. That's why I took Oklahoma.
I mean, both of them, man, are going to be some wild games, man. You got to go up there to Norman. That's going to be wild. And then, of course, you got home against Missouri, which is homecoming, but
we can't lose that game. We cannot lose homecoming.
The reason I say we can't lose that game is homecoming won, but also that's Kalen DeBoer's birthday weekend, same as mine too. Shout out to him. I got to mention that every time. We got the same birthday, but we can't lose. That's OVO. We don't lose in that month, bro. Jalen DeBoer is going to be undefeated in October. All right, that's the thing. If you're born in October, that's what you do. You win in that month, no matter what. We cannot lose in October.
Okay, so I know, JT, I'm going to take this question from Amber Nicole here about the coaches, about the coordinators being on the sideline. This is about the third time.
Oh, yeah.
I know I've gotten this question, which is cool. That one is so hard to tell right now because with Kane's personality, you would feel like Kane would be on the field and Nick Sheridan would be in the press box. Mm-hmm. But Sheridan, they both could be on the field. Like, you really don't know. Like, Coach Shep is going to be on the field. You really don't know. So in terms of the coordinators, that's going to be one for August 31st because you really don't know. If I had to guess it, I would have Kane on the field and Nick Sheridan upstairs. Mm-hmm. But I just got a sneaky suspicion both of them jokers going to be on the field.
It could be.
You're going to be upstairs, Steven.
Yeah. They're going to have you
They're going to always have me upstairs. They're going to look. They're going to always have somebody getting the bird's eye view. That's going to be me. And they're going to be like, hey, Steven, can you hear us in the headset? Yeah, I can hear y'all.
Yeah, Southern Red in the comments, DeBoer birthday in October, too. Yes, it's 7 days before Nick Saban, October 24th. Same as your boy right here. And that's how I know that, too. You goats if you're born in that month. All right, that's just what it is. But Justin said, we're going to save some of these for a fan segment at the end of the show, guys. I just want to touch base on a couple questions. We're going to highlight some of the questions. So keep dropping questions in the chats, guys. Keep dropping. Yes. We're going to touch back. We're going to kind of switch gears here and go into something that JB actually wanted us to talk about tonight. And I actually like this a lot too, JB. This is a good topic brought up by you right here. SEC power ranking. So, JB, man, lead us off tonight, and then we'll just kind of follow suit with you, brother.
So, I don't know if you guys saw this. ESPN put out a SEC power rankings, and they got Georgia 1, Texas 2, Bama 3. Now, I said this months ago that's the big three in the SEC, Georgia, Bama, Texas. But I would not rank it Georgia, Texas, Bama like they have it because we just beat Georgia in the SEC championship. I don't know why people still think Georgia is better than Alabama. We just showed them in Atlanta, 6-7 months ago, we beat them. So why would you think Georgia is better than Alabama? But I'm glad that we are what we are so we can continue to rank and let all the naysayers know that, hey, underestimate us. Keep underestimating us. And we're going to have to show you later on. But to talk about that, I mean, they have Georgia 1, Texas 2, Bama 3, Ole Miss 4, Missouri 5, Tennessee 6, LSU 7, and Oklahoma 8. I'm just going to talk about the top 8. So do you guys have any problem with how they rank those teams?
I'll let you go first, Stephen.
I don't have a problem with the top 8, but JB, I go back to a point that you just made. The fact that you beat Georgia in Atlanta this past season for the SEC championship, right? The fact that Milroe outplays Carson Beck in that game, but yet so many people have Carson Beck as a higher Heisman than Milroe as far as the betting odds in Vegas. I'm going to say this season is going to either make Carson Beck or break Carson Beck like a motherless child. So it's going to do either one of the two, the schedule that they have. But I look at it like this. The only reason why they look at Georgia as over Alabama is because, once again, what are all the national talking heads saying? Well, Saban's gone, so Bama's going to go back to looking like Mike Shula, which that's not the case at all. People fail to realize this, and I've said this so many times. Do they not realize that there's a rack of ribs that Nick Saban left Jaylen DeBoer? There's a whole rack of ribs in the cupboard there that Nick Saban left Jaylen DeBoer. I don't think people understand.
Them ribs ain't dry either.
They smoking off the bone. They smoking off the bone. And this is the crazy part. This is the crazy part of it all. They touch up Well, you lost Caleb Downs. Okay. You bring in Keon Saab. Like, what you mean? We replaced Caleb Downs with a dude that played on a national championship team. What you talking about? And then they go, well, you lost some of the guys to the transfer portal. Okay, big deal. The nucleus of the team is still in Tuscaloosa. Like, the nucleus is still in Tuscaloosa when you lost Nick Saban. But the guy we got just came off of competing in a national championship game. So I don't quite understand why the national talking heads continue with this narrative of Bama's going to revert back to Mike Shula. Are you out of your mind?
That's your boy. That's your boy Feinbaum. He part of the talking heads.
Now, I've been trying to get Paul correct. I don't know why people don't like to listen to me when I try to get Paul correct. But once again, that's besides the point.
Right. But you said a mouthful, Steven, and you were absolutely right. You are absolutely right. JT, what you got to say about it?
Man, so looking at the power rankings, it's one of those things, just like when the rankings came out. What was it, last week? Sometime or something like that came out? Preseason rankings, yeah. I'm like this. Put us at 10 right now. Put us at 7. Put us at 6. Give me that rat poison. Feed it to me. I want it supersized or link poison, whatever you want to call it now. Like, give it to me because Bama always plays better outside of that top realm when we're not 1 and 2. Think of our bounce back games over the years when we lost the game. We came out to play Georgia. We were ranked 8th. What was it that we played Ole Miss one time, came back. And came back on that one. There's a couple other games you can run back and look at it. Bama plays their best sometimes. 2023 SEC championship. Bama was ranked 8th or 7th going against the number 1 team in the country.
Remember, JT, 2021 SEC championship when they were saying you can't stop Georgia's D-line, you can't stop Big Jarvis Adams.
Stephen M. Smith, they should have just handed Georgia that trophy the way they talked so much about that before we ever even played the game, dude. They said they're going to walk a mud hole through Alabama.
And what happened? Jamison Williams torched them. Jamison Williams torched them.
They had that 10-point little 10-0 run on us, and then we were like, all right, cool. Bryce hit James down the sidelines, and he's gone.
Destroyed him.
Touchdown. And then that 55-yard burner that Bryce put in a bucket, a 5-gallon bucket right there, just boom. So, yeah, talking about that, you're right, Stephen Smith. So, to get back on that, the power rankings, I like where they put Bama. I like the list for the most part overall. I do think Vandy should have been up in that top 5.
You tripping. I know. You're trolling right now. You trolling. I thought you was going to say Auburn in the top 2.
Man.
No, Auburn should be in the bottom. They should be out the list. Put them in the back 12.
Now, JT, I'm happy you were joking because I almost had to call Deacon and be like, hey, Deacon, come get the chair, man. I'm about to fall. Come get the chair, Deacon. I'm about to fall out of here now.
I knew he was trolling. I already knew he was.
Yeah. But did y'all see what Manti Te'o said today? And
I got that. Yeah.
He said something about. I want to talk about it real quick, just and we can move on. We're on good time right now. But he spoke about, hey, yeah, me and my guys, we're out waiting. We're the number 1 team in the country. We're supposed to go out, but they're like, wait, you got to wait on Bama. So he says Bama's locker room opens, and he's like, guys are coming out. And he said DJ Fluke or Walmack, all them got their jerseys up with their big bellies out, and they come running by. And he's like, man, it's one of those things. Like, those guys just wanted it, And then sharing it, saying they wanted all the smoke, and there was more to it, man. I need the details, We need the details.
I mean, because everybody that year was talking about Notre Dame's defense and how good it was, and people were talking about, Everett Golson being this mobile quarterback and how he was going to do some stuff in that game. Man, Eddie Lacy destroyed them dudes, man. Eddie Lacy went off.
Crazy.
Amari Cooper went off. Probably the only fight that happened in that game was between A.J. McCarron and Barrett Jones. That was the only fight
they
that
did.
happened
They
in
did
that
have
game.
a big argument. They did. They
Like
100%
they
had a
did.
big
They
argument.
did get into a little scuffle there to where Nick Saban was like, "Yeah."
We were up too big in that game. We were
Yeah.
like super up in that game, and I remember that. And I remember the cameraman zooming in on that, and I was like, "Whoa, what y'all doing right here, bro? Hold up, wait a minute."
I mean,
SEC power rankings, I like it. I like where we're at right now for the most part. This is going to change, obviously, as the seasons go on.
Yeah.
But, yeah, not too upset, JB, man. I think we're going to do just fine where we're at, brother.
Well, it's the big game. Well, we're going to talk about the big games. The Georgia matchup is really big. And then Texas also plays Georgia. So you just never know. We may see one of those teams in the SEC championship in December. And then you might see one of those teams again in the playoffs. It just depends on how this 12-team playoff goes. You have 2 lost teams in the 12-team playoff, and you could play a team 3 times.
You could, bro. You could definitely play a team 3 times.
You could play Georgia 3 times. It just depends on how it falls.
And it would be even more wild the fact that if we was to play the Iron Bowl and then possibly have the Iron Bowl again.
That won't happen this year. It won't happen
No. This is going to be on one of those Auburn where they sacrificed a cousin or something to get it. And then
well, they got a lot of games in Cal College this year. And then the first 5 games, I believe.
They do.
Yeah.
They ain't got no excuse. Hey, where they got to play New Mexico State at?
I don't know. Chris Williams.
Don't they play him again?
They play him again. They play Cal again. They play New Mexico.
Chris Williams.
Auburn has an easy schedule.
Yeah, the only reason they're ranked 5th on the toughest schedule is they play us in Georgia. That 100%. Look at the schedule. That's not even me hating that being a Bama fan. Just go look at the schedule. That's just that, bro. I can't help too much of that. But you do play. I'll give you that. So, but coming back to it, guys, we'll get back on track real quick so we don't end up going crazy over right here. But SEC Power Rankings, guys, that'll kind of wrap that one up. We're going to touch base on the sponsors real quick. JB, tell us who we sponsored by, brother, man. Tell the people, man.
We are 2 weeks away from the football season, so make sure you get your title towel when you come to Brian Denny. We need 100,000 strong. Go to whitwillsports.com. Use the promo code STANDARD. You get you a nice little discount, courtesy of your favorite Bama network, the Bama Standards. And we will be in T-Town on September, what is the second game? The second game for the Bama Standard show?
7th, right?
Yeah, the 6th on that Friday night. So, hey,
y'all
come to T-Town.
6th, yeah.
2 weeks
and also,
away.
who we sponsored by, guys? Workspace Solutions, guys. So if your business needs a digital presence, a full-fledged marketing team, SEO, and more, they're who you need to contact today, guys. Right here at the bottom, that link. WorkspacePros.com, and that's legit, guys. If you got something you're working on, you trying to, pop it out, these guys can get it going for you. Make sure you hit these guys up, guys. So we talked about the SEC rankings right there. We've touched base on Bama MVPs. We have recapped the Bama scrimmage from the second scrimmage, and also some more on that, guys. Go check out the other live video that was posted earlier with the Bama Standard Flagship Show with Stephen M. Smith, Smoke Dixon, and Justin Riley right here. I almost called him Justin Standard for some reason. I don't know why that was about to come out. But check that show out too, guys. That they talked about a lot on the recap there. Something I want to kind of get in, be our last segment for the night, guys. In-season championship games. What does that mean? Because that could mean a lot. So right now, I wrote down a few games, and these are just games that I feel could impact. They can impact a lot of things here. And it depends how the coins flip on things, but we obviously know Bama and Georgia. In my opinion, that's in-season championship game. Ohio State has to go to Eugene, Oregon. Okay, that one's going to be a big seed, how things end up in the seeding close to the end of the year. Because you got to think, when these teams run the table and they only have one loss and it's 2 Ohio State or 2 Oregon or 2 Bama or 2 Georgia, when you're comparing, those are all going to start mattering on who gets a home playoff game and who gets an away playoff game. So some things I want to break down. I'm going to touch base on the Oregon-Ohio State real quick. And I know A lot of people in here might not like Oregon, might not like Ohio State. That's not the point. The point of it's going to be is how these games affect us in the 12-team playoff. Oregon, Ohio State, going to Eugene. You're going to get a big test early. I think it's like in October they play or late September. So there'll be an earliest test in the season. And it's like who wins the game will take the front ship of going to get maybe a top 4 seed. JB, what I want you to do, I want you to tell me real quick what you think about any game outside of, Bama, Georgia, or a Bama game this year that you feel is an in-season championship game, kind of like the one I said, or you can elaborate on that one, however you want to break that down.
Man, that game is a big game. So as people will forget, or probably won't forget, Oregon is now in the Big Ten, right? So the Big Ten is a super conference, if you want to say a super conference, because they just added a bunch of teams. Now, a lot of people are high on Oregon this year, very high, for right reasons, because they got a lot of talent, brought a lot of talent in. That Nike money runs deep, so they brought a lot of players in. So, Ohio State is also a favorite to make the playoffs and kind of win that conference. Michigan, you don't really know what they're going to do. But for that game right there, JT, I would say it really depends on if Ohio State can run the table. They have to beat Michigan. They have to kind of keep that momentum, because if they don't, Ryan Day could be on that hot seat and he could be out of there if they don't make the playoffs. If they don't make the championship, I think Ohio State will be out of here. I think Ryan Day will be out of there. But Oregon, I think they could lose a game and still kind of be in that top of that Big Ten conference.
I see the same thing, JB, and I'll throw this one out there. That Michigan-Texas game, that one's going to be interesting too, because if you think about this, I think Michigan goes to Austin. I think they go to Austin to play against Texas. That's a big game, and there is so much NCAA cloud over Michigan with the sign stealing, everything that happened with Coach Harbaugh. Now Harbaugh's gone. The whole team got gutted. Sharon Morris, the head coach. How can Michigan navigate this? And if Michigan's able to beat Texas, I'm not saying they will, but if Michigan's able to beat Texas, that's a big feather in Sharon Moore's cap, especially after all that happened in the Jim Harbaugh regime there.
You want to add to it, Justin?
I do. JT had to step away, but I'm here to kind of help navigate this ship with you guys. I feel like we got the best ship leading to a championship. You like that? Like my rhyming late at night, but I think another in-season championship that people are not really looking at, but really need to be looking at, especially if both teams are steamrolling towards the later part of the season. Ole Miss versus Georgia. That happens later part of the season. If Ole Miss, in fact, does live up to their billing, they've got a roster full of talent, both sides of the ball. On paper, they have the perfect cast assembled to make a run. Not just make the playoffs, but make noise in the playoffs. But this is a big game for them. They need that turning of the corner moment for Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin needs to take that next step and beat the elite teams. So I'm looking at that. And then Georgia too. Georgia, if they're steamrolling up at that point, this clash is really going to make a big difference when you talk about seeding. So, and this may be a repeat of what the SEC championship may be. A lot of people are thinking this is going to be who's going to be playing at the end of the season for the conference title. But yeah, as far as playoff rankings towards the end of the season, this one is a big one. But the top 10, you got a lot of folks facing each other this year. So there's going to be a lot of cannibalization amongst those teams. So it's going to be interesting, but I think that's one we definitely need to be watching. Ole Miss is stacked now. They've probably got one of the best wide receiving groups in the country that nobody's really talking about, and they really should. Jackson Dart is really coming to his own. He's really evolved each year as he's been under center Love that kid. He's talented. I think he should be actually ranked higher in terms of the quarterback rankings that we've recently seen in PFF. I don't particularly agree with it. I think he's better than Shedeur Sanders. I'll say that, and I'll probably be ran out of town, but I really don't care. That's my perspective. But yeah, let's keep an eye on that game.
We've talked about 3 Georgia games. Georgia has a tough schedule. They don't have a cupcake schedule this year. They start off with Clemson, and then they play Bama, they play Ole Miss, they play Texas. They could be possibly 4 losses. I would say 3 out of the 4. They could possibly lose 3 out of the 4. Will you think? Do you guys throw your question at you guys? You think Georgia gets in with 3 losses?
It's going to be hard. You've got a situation where how many teams are actually going to be undefeated at the season's end? How many teams are going to just have 1 loss? And then how many teams are going to have 2 losses? You're going to start looking at a lot of chaos at that point. And then the argument for a 3-loss team, it's going to be difficult. If any 3-loss team gets in, I'd say would be Georgia or an Alabama. But it's going to be awfully hard to argue a 3-loss team, especially when you have scenarios of which I just mentioned.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Any other games before we move on to the fan segments? I know these guys in the chat, they're freaking awesome. Love them.
We got
they're chomping at the bit. I got a lot of them starred.
I mean, they got some pit. You got some pit bulls in that chat now. They ready to be let loose, man.
Yeah, let's get the questions. Come on,
let's get the questions.
Yeah.
Steven, I know a lot of these are probably going to be the same that you've answered over and over again, but you know what? We're here for the people, right?
It's for the people.
Look, man, I'm in my chair. I feel good, so I can answer these questions.
And you are the people's champ. So let's go ahead and let's roll with it. Let's start off with the F-Run question. Steven, any info on walk-ons, and will they lose any of the walk-on players, you feel like?
Information on the walk-ons. Prince Butler, defensive back, looks pretty good out there. You know, Prince Butler, he's been able to do some good things throughout fall camp. Will they lose any walk-on players? I mean, you could lose maybe a couple of those guys to the portal. I mean, that does happen. You know, walk-ons that they help, put the team, they help the team, give the team great looks out there, especially the guys that are out there starting and contributing. So you could lose a couple of walk-ons to the portal. Don't know who as of right now, but you could lose a couple.
Okay, understandably so.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
Amber, this question has been asked a lot, and there's a lot of Bama fans, Stephen M. Smith, that just they aren't feeling that strong urge to go ahead and put the stamp of approval on the secondary because they are young. They're not playing like they're young, though, Stephen M. Smith. So this give a little bit more comfort. I know we've given out a lot here recently, but, that's what we're here for. We got to let the naysayers know. Stephen, how are you feeling about the secondary concerns now after you saw the scrimmages?
I'll say this. I'll answer this like this. You know how you've been trying to get this girl number, right? The first time you try to get the girl number, she hits you with that nah. Mm-hmm. The next 2 times, you swab yourself up. That second time, you try to get that number. She may turn you down, but she's like, ooh, he got a little bit of game now. By that 3rd time, you didn't got that number. So you look at this Alabama secondary. In the summer, people were like, I don't know, they young. They look like little babies out there. Now, this secondary, legit. I'm going to tell you how I'm feeling about it. These guys can play. Damani Jackson can play. If the corner opposite him, if it's DaShawn Jones, I'm good. If it's Zabien Brown, I'm good. If it's Jaylen Mbakwe, I'm good because all 3 can play. Yeah.
Let me add to that. So from A-Day to what we've been seeing now in the scrimmages, they have come a long way.
They have come light years from A-Day. Light years. Especially Mbakwe. Light years from A-Day.
Love it. Love it.
Okay. I definitely will take anything you tell us any day of the week, sir. Keith Holcomb, I may be looking through crimson-colored glasses, but do y'all think we're gearing up for another run?
I think so. I think it starts off with you couldn't have picked the better head coach to succeed Nick Saban than King and DeBoer. King and DeBoer, offensive-minded guy. He knows offense. I think outside of Steve Sarkisian, outside of Lane Kiffin, you got the best offensive guy in King and DeBoer, period. Okay. And then I look at what he's brought as far as a coaching staff. He's brought not just energy guys, but guys that can really teach, guys that can really impact, guys who can really instruct. Mm-hmm. And the players have taken to all of it. So I think another run is about to happen.
Okay.
Take that every day of the week. Not a question, but a super chat. Anthony Ham, shout out $4.99.
Okay, Ham.
We appreciate that for sure. All right, moving right along. Tough as nails. Love that. Steven, I know you've been to every DeBoer press conference. Does he ever say anything negative? And do you think he won't do it on camera?
He hasn't. To me, he hasn't said anything negative. Now, he get passionate out there on that field. Now, I'm not saying he cussing folk out from A to Z like Saban, but he get passionate out there on that field. Now, I don't think he'll do it on camera. DeBoer's a big family guy, so I don't think he'll do it on camera. But I know one person who's gonna cut some folks up on that field. That's Kane Womack. Kane gonna cut you up. Kane don't care.
He don't give a damn.
Look, I've said this before. Every coaching staff needs a calm presence and a live wire. Kane is a loose cannon. Kane will be out there with a whole hooded sweatsuit on, dripping in sweat, cussing you out A to Z, and still come back and say, "Hey, but good play though. But I'm gonna still cuss you out." That's Kane Womack.
That's what we need. That's what we need for these things.
He'll cuss you out and pray for you all in the same quarter. All right, Z Edwards. Which wide receiver will be that dude this season?
Well, JB just brought him up. Kendrick Law. No. I mean, King Law will be that dude, and you'll get King Law the ball in so many ways. He'll get the ball as a wide receiver. He'll get the ball coming to motion, as a running back. He'll get the ball on screens. He'll get the ball on jet sweeps. He'll get the ball on end around stuff. He's getting work in on kickoff return. So Kendrick Law will be that dude at receiver.
And I will add to this, I haven't seen him drop a ball.
He has not dropped the ball all camp. Like he almost ran into me at practice and still held onto the ball and almost ran me over, at practice.
He should have.
And you didn't see that coming?
Look, man, I was trying to get out the way.
I mean, I was trying. You got the Liz Scratchers 3000 on.
I was trying to get out the way. I was trying to get out the way. You should have saw
that from 20 yards away, Stevie.
I did. And I was like, I got to get the shot. I got to get the catch. I got to get on camera. I got to get on camera. Oh, God, he's coming right near me.
Sacrifice for it. That's
sacrifices, man. Sacrifices.
Don't give a piss. Don Parker, Steven. We're sticking with wide receivers here. Receivers getting separation and catching the ball has been an issue in recent seasons. Are the coaches doing what they can to correct these issues?
Jamarcus Shepard has corrected, period. Jamarcus Shepard has told these guys, we got to separate, and we got to catch the football, and we got to know why we're running this route, why we're executing this route tree, why are we distributing our weight properly in and out of the break with our body, why are we doing these things? Jamarcus Shepard is not only coaching the why and explaining the why, the players are getting the why. I'm seeing a lot of separation. I'm seeing a lot of hand catching, not body catching, hand catching. Yep. So Shep is coaching these guys the correct way.
Okay. Wide receivers. This is the most popular topic of tonight. What about Jaron Hamilton? I was hoping he'd progress into the rotation.
He has progressed. Jaron looks good out there. He has progressed. Now, I get it. He may not be in the top 4, but Jared's in that second wave. I mean, Jaron Hamilton's in that second wave. He's in there with Cole Adams. He's in there with Emmanuel Henderson. Okay. So Jaron Hamilton has progressed.
Again, Don Parker, $10. Thank you, sir. We greatly appreciate you. We know Steven had that diamond in the back bumping in the 8-track this afternoon. Have to ask.
Why are people saying I'm blasting all of this music, man?
Using the station wagon today.
Using the station wagon, man.
Man, next thing gonna say, man, Steven was blasting that whole DMX album. You know,
where the hood at?
Yeah, for real. Hey, I probably was, so I ain't even gonna lie.
Are the receivers doing better at getting separation and catching the ball? Only concerned about Western Kentucky University.
Yeah, I mentioned that receivers are getting better. Coach Shep is doing an amazing job with them. Like, he's getting them catching the ball better. He's getting them separating right. He's getting them winning at the line of scrimmage. These guys are not getting jammed up in press man. He's got these guys winning and releasing at the line of scrimmage. I'm very impressed with Coach Shep right now, what he's done with these guys.
All right.
Let me add to that about the receivers. So those Washington kids that was drafted to the NFL, I'm not sure if they were 5 stars, but we got 4 and 5-star talent. And those kids at Washington were getting hella separation last season.
And they were 3 stars. And they were 3-star kids.
Thank you.
They were 3-star kids.
First, second, third round. 3 guys. So imagine what he's going to do with these guys for a whole season. Getting the Law and the Prentice and got Jeremy Bernard he brought over. Wait till Ryan Williams gets unleashed.
Man, wait till E-Man get out there pimp walking through the building.
You know what? Hard out here for a pimp.
No, Justin. No. Save that for Terrence Howard and Suge, a.k.a. Taraji P. Henson. Say it.
Sorry, I'll come back. Yeah. Anthony Ham, do you guys think Red Morgan should start at the Husky position?
Okay. Okay.
Good question.
I'm gonna go no slightly because needs a bit more weight.
Okay.
Needs a bit more weight. He's coming strong, but needs a bit more weight. I think Devontae Smith has that now at 208 pounds. Smitty as a defensive back. I think it's Smitty. Right now, Red will have his time. Red will have his moment. But right now, I think Devontae Smith should be starting at Husky.
Okay. Whitwill Sports Title Towel in the chat. Got a question. Could we see the law firm of Miller, Haynes, and Young on the field together?
The law firm of Miller, Haynes. You know, the only way, my man Title Towel, I can see that. Do you have a formation where you line up Jam Miller as a receiver and have Justice and Richard Young flanking Milroe? Like, if that's a formation package, then I could see that happening. But if that's not a formation package, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I think that just about covers the Ask Fan section. Thank you so much, Stephen S. Smith, for providing all your wonderful wisdom.
Stephen been working hard, man.
You really have.
We thank you a lot, man, because you've been doing a lot and out there sweating and getting all the information we need. So we want to shout you out for that, dude.
Man, I feel like I lost about I feel like I lost a couple pounds, but I gained it back in like brain muscle or something. That's what I feel like right now.
Stephen, the hardest working man in show business. I'm gonna start calling him James Brown Smith. Get on up.
Now look now. Hey, James Brown was something ahead of everything, man. James, man. So sometimes you can barely make out what James Brown was saying.
It was smooth though. It was smooth.
I mean, look, he was like James was smooth, but you was like, what is you saying though? Get on up. Okay. It's all right, Unc. It's all right. It's okay.
Yeah, he's sitting there telling George to go home because it's a man's world. Sorry. That was lame.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, man.
We like to have fun here on Saturday nights.
Yeah, we do.
Bama,
Yeah, we
so.
do.
But listen, thank y'all for throwing in those great questions. I'm sure you have more. If you have more, go ahead and throw them in the comment section on the replay. We'll always be glad to get back to you with the answers, and we can definitely answer some of them in shows next week. So feel free to offer what you got. But guys, we've gone overtime, but we do it for the fans, right?
Oh, yeah.
Before we roll on up out of here, I want you to tell folks how they can find you so we can keep the experience going. JB, start us out, how they can find you on social media, what you got coming up, and then Stephen and Smith will do his thing, and then we'll head on out the door.
You guys can find me on Twitter X at young_ENT_, and on YouTube, Sports Talking with JB. Got a new show, Bama State. It's Bama State football, the Black and Gold show on Wednesday nights. And we're about to crank up Sports Talking with JB. And Talking Bama is going to move to Sunday nights, starting September the 1st. Sunday night, September the 1st. So y'all be with us next week. Will be our last Saturday night show next week because we're getting ready for the games.
Perfect segue here to Stephen and Smith. Guess who with a super chat? Don Parker.
Don Parker.
Thank you, Stephen and Smith. He was bumping that paid the cost to be the boss, too.
Man, you know what? When I'm not bumping every tune in the A-Track playlist, you can find me. You can find me on X at Coach and M Smith right there. X at Coach and M Smith right there. TouchdownAlabama.com is the site where we are just pouring out fall camp content. TouchdownAlabama.com there. We're continuing to pump out the fall camp content as we're going to get into pretty soon. Game week. Now, Kalen DeBoer, they're going to be starting next week, implementing the game plan for Western Kentucky. We're about to start seeing, the starters, the depth chart for the starters getting ready to come out there and, who's going to be doing what. So I'm excited to get into that and getting that list from Coach DeBoer. Okay. When you can't catch me doing my own show Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays for TDA, I'm right here. Bama Standard every Tuesday and Saturday. Tuesday, I'm with the flagship show of Justin, Marvin Constant, Steve Brown, Gerald Smoke Dixon. We're all just having fun here. And I'm the guy just floating through, trying to make my way to the table to have some food there. But, the Bama Stand-Up on Tuesdays. On Wednesdays, I do make appearances on the Crimson Dynasty. C.She Payne, Hannah Stevens, Dan James. They enjoy having me there. I have fun there. And then Saturdays, I even cha-cha slide my way here. Don't talk at Bama, JB, JT, Marshall. This is fun, guys. Like, when they say I enjoy doing this, man, I enjoy doing this.
We definitely believe you. And how could the folks not appreciate what we're bringing to the table? Hey, you make it worthwhile. I want to thank everybody again for showing up tonight, being in the chat. We got the super chats flowing too. Thank you for all the love, folks. We're here to serve. We'll see you next week on this magnificent network. This
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, everyone.
Roll in the Dickens chair.